Ask over. Meaning, to invite someone to one's home. Example, we should ask them over for a barbecue. Example, they asked us over for a movie night. Bend over. Meaning, to lean forward at the waist. Example, he had to bend over to tie his shoelaces. Example, the gymnast gracefully bent over during the routine. Bend over backwards. Meaning, to make a great effort or go to great lengths. Example, she's willing to bend over backward to help her friends. Example, the team bent over backward to meet the tight deadline. Boil over. Meaning, to overflow or spill over due to boiling. Example, be careful, the pot might boil over if the heat is too high. Example, the excitement and tension seemed to boil over during the final minutes. Bowl over. Meaning, to surprise or astonish someone. Example, the unexpected news completely bowled over the entire audience. Example, she was utterly bowled over by the grand gesture from her friends. Bubble over. Meaning, to be filled with excitement or enthusiasm. Example, the kids were bubbling over with joy when they heard the news. Example, her excitement about the project was bubbling over during the presentation. Carry over. Meaning, to bring something from one period to the next. Example, unused vacation days can often be carried over to the following year. Example, the positive energy from the successful event carried over into the next week. Change over. Meaning, to switch or convert from one thing to another. Example, the company decided to change over to more sustainable packaging. Example, it's time to change over from the old system to the new and improved software. Check over. Meaning, to review or examine something carefully. Example, the manager decided to check over the final draft of the presentation. Example, before submitting the report, make sure to check it over for any errors. Chew over. Meaning, to contemplate or consider something carefully. Example, take some time to chew over the options before making a decision. Example, he decided to chew over the feedback received during the performance review. Cloud over. Meaning, to become dark or gloomy, especially the sky. Example, the weather started to change, and clouds began to cloud over the sky. Example, his mood tends to cloud over when he receives disappointing news. Come over. Meaning, to visit someone or a place. Example, feel free to come over to my house for dinner this weekend. Example, the neighbors decided to come over and welcome the new residents. Creep over. Meaning, to spread gradually or stealthily. Example, as the shadows lengthened, darkness began to creep over the landscape. Example, a feeling of exhaustion can slowly creep over you after a demanding day. Double over. Meaning, to bend forward suddenly, typically due to laughter or pain. Example, the joke made him double over with laughter, unable to catch his breath. Example, a sudden cramp caused her to double over in pain during the race. Drop over. Meaning, to visit someone casually or without prior notice. Example, if you're in the neighborhood, why not drop over for a quick chat? Example, friends often drop over to share a meal or spend time together spontaneously. Fall over. Meaning, to tip or tumble from an upright position. Example, the strong gust of wind caused the poorly balanced signboard to fall over. Example, children learning to ride bicycles often experience a few falls over before mastering balance. Fawn over. Meaning, to lavish excessive attention or praise on someone. Example, the designer's latest collection caused fashion enthusiasts to fawn over the innovative designs. Example, parents may unintentionally foster entitlement by constantly fawning over their children. Flick over. Meaning, to quickly turn or switch to another channel, page, or topic. Example, viewers may flick over to different channels during commercial breaks. Example, the student decided to flick over the pages of the textbook to find the relevant information quickly. Freeze over. Meaning, to become covered or encased in ice. Example, during winter, the pond tends to freeze over, allowing for ice skating and winter sports. Example, cold temperatures caused the car's windshield to freeze over, requiring defrosting before driving. Get over. Meaning, to recover from an illness, setback, or emotional distress. Example, with proper care and rest, individuals can get over a common cold relatively quickly. Example, after a challenging breakup, it takes time and support to get over the emotional pain. Get over with. Meaning, to complete or finish something quickly, often to move on to other tasks. Example, students eagerly work to get exams over with so they can enjoy their well-deserved break. Example, employees may prioritize tasks to get them over with efficiently and focus on new projects. Give over. Meaning, to devote or surrender something to a particular purpose. Example, the artist decided to give over a room in their house as a dedicated studio for creating artwork. Example, entrepreneurs may give over a significant portion of their time to developing and growing their businesses. Give over to. Meaning, to surrender control or dedicate oneself entirely to a specific pursuit. Example, after retiring, he decided to give over to his passion for travel and explore different countries. Example, some individuals find fulfillment by giving over to spiritual practices and devoting time to meditation. Give over. Meaning, an exclamation expressing disbelief or frustration. Example, give over. I can't believe you managed to solve that complex puzzle so quickly. Example, in moments of exasperation, people may use give over to express their astonishment or frustration. Gloss over. Meaning, to downplay or ignore details, making something appear less significant. Example, some individuals may gloss over their achievements out of humility rather than seeking praise. Example, in discussions, it's essential not to gloss over important facts and address all aspects of a situation. Go over. Meaning, to review, examine, or discuss thoroughly. Example, before exams, students should go over their notes and textbooks to reinforce key concepts. Example, in business meetings, it's common to go over financial reports and analyze performance metrics. Go over to. Meaning, to transition or switch to a different side, topic, or viewpoint. Example, during debates, individuals may go over to opposing arguments to explore diverse perspectives. Example, in conversations, friends may go over to lighter topics after discussing more serious or sensitive issues. Hand over. Meaning, to relinquish or transfer control or possession to someone else. Example, in business acquisitions, companies hand over ownership and management responsibilities to the acquiring entities. Example, parents gradually hand over responsibilities to their children as they transition into adulthood. Hangover. Meaning, to extend or linger from a previous time or situation. Example, the festive atmosphere from the celebration hung over the office the next day, creating a cheerful environment. Example, a sense of disappointment hung over the team after their unexpected loss in the championship game. Have over. Meaning, to invite or host someone in one's home. Example, Friends may have over guests for dinner parties, game nights, or casual gatherings to strengthen social bonds. Example: it's courteous to inform hosts in advance if individuals plan to have over friends or acquaintances to avoid unexpected situations. Hold over. Meaning, to continue or extend a particular state or situation. Example: the success of a marketing campaign may lead companies to hold over promotional activities to capitalize on positive momentum. Example: when audiences respond positively to a film, theaters may decide to hold over its screening to meet high demand. Keel over. Meaning, to collapse or fall suddenly, often due to exhaustion or a health issue. Example: exhausted athletes may keel over after completing a demanding race, requiring immediate medical attention and support. Example: in stressful situations, individuals experiencing health issues may suddenly keel over, necessitating timely intervention and care. Look over. Meaning, to examine or review something, to inspect or assess. Example: before submitting the report, employees should take the time to look over the document for errors and improvements. Example: home buyers carefully look over property listings to identify potential homes that meet their preferences and criteria. Lord it over. Meaning, to assert authority or dominance in a haughty or arrogant manner. Example: the newly promoted manager should lead with humility rather than lord it over colleagues to foster a positive work environment. Example: some individuals lord it over others based on perceived superiority, creating a negative atmosphere within the group. Makeover. Meaning, to renovate or transform the appearance of something or someone. Example: homeowners decided to make over their outdated kitchen, giving it a modern and stylish look. Example: after undergoing a significant makeover, the struggling business was able to make over its image and attract a new customer base. Mess over. Meaning, to treat someone unfairly or mistreat them. Example: the manager promised not to mess over employees during the restructuring, ensuring a fair and transparent process. Example: it's important to establish a workplace culture where nobody feels they are being messed over or treated unjustly. Mull over. Meaning, to carefully consider or reflect on something. Example: before making a decision, it's crucial to mull over the pros and cons to ensure thoughtful and informed choices. Example: the team took some time to mull over the feedback received from the clients before implementing necessary changes to the project. Paper over. Meaning, to conceal or cover up a problem or difficulty with a superficial solution. Example: some managers attempt to paper over issues in the workplace instead of addressing the root causes, leading to persistent challenges. Example, it's essential to address conflicts directly rather than papering them over to ensure long-term resolution and team harmony. Pass over. Meaning, to overlook or ignore someone or something. Example, despite their qualifications, some job applicants may be passed over if their resumes do not align with the specific requirements of the position. Example, it's crucial for leaders to be inclusive and ensure that no team member is passed over when considering opportunities for growth and recognition. Pour over. Meaning, to examine or study something carefully and attentively. Example, researchers often pore over scientific journals, analyzing data and findings to contribute to their own studies. Example, before making a decision, it's advisable to pore over the details of a contract to ensure a clear understanding of terms and conditions. Pull over. Meaning, to drive a vehicle to the side of the road and stop. Example, the police officer signaled the driver to pull over for a routine traffic check and license verification. Example, when experiencing car trouble, it's advisable to pull over to a safe location and assess the situation before continuing the journey. Put over. Meaning, to convey or communicate an idea or message effectively. Example, the speaker skillfully used visuals and anecdotes to put over the importance of environmental conservation. Example, during the marketing campaign, the team aimed to put over the product's unique features and benefits to potential customers. Rake over. Meaning, to revisit or discuss a past event or topic, often bringing up old arguments or grievances. Example, it's counterproductive to constantly rake over past mistakes in a relationship, hindering the potential for growth and forgiveness. Example, during the meeting, the team chose to focus on future strategies rather than raking over past challenges that had already been addressed. Run over. Meaning, to collide with or pass over something, often with a vehicle or object. Example, the careless driver failed to notice the pedestrian and accidentally ran over the curb while turning. Example, when conducting experiments, scientists need to be cautious to avoid running over crucial data points that may impact their conclusions. Screw over. Meaning, to deceive, betray, or harm someone, often in a business or personal relationship. Example, business partners should prioritize trust and integrity to avoid situations where one might attempt to screw over the other for personal gain. Example, in friendships, it's essential to maintain open communication and transparency to prevent any actions that could be perceived as an attempt to screw over a friend. Show over. Meaning, to conclude or complete a performance, presentation, or event. Example, As the final act took the stage, the host announced that it was time to show over the talent show, thanking everyone for their participation. Example: after months of preparation, the musical production was ready to show over the weekend, delighting audiences with captivating performances. Sit over. Meaning, to remain seated or stay in a particular place for an extended period. Example: after finishing their meals, diners may choose to sit over coffee, enjoying leisurely conversations and savoring the ambience of the restaurant. Example: in reflective moments, individuals may sit over a scenic view, contemplating life's complexities and finding solace in quiet introspection. Sleep over. Meaning, to spend the night at someone else's place. Example: teenagers often enjoy having sleepovers, providing an opportunity for socializing and creating lasting memories with friends. Example: when traveling, staying with friends or family can enhance the experience, allowing visitors to have a local perspective and enjoy a sleepover in a familiar environment. Spill over. Meaning, to exceed the limits or boundaries and extend beyond the expected area. Example: the excitement from the concert spilled over into the surrounding streets, with fans celebrating the event late into the night. Example: the positive impact of the community project had a spillover effect, benefiting neighboring areas and fostering a sense of unity. Start over. Meaning, to begin again, typically after a setback or failure. Example: after the computer crashed, he had to start over on the document, but this time he saved his work more frequently. Example: life is full of challenges, but the important thing is the ability to dust yourself off and start over when faced with adversity. Stay over. Meaning, to spend the night at a place. Example: friends from out of town were invited to stay over, turning a casual visit into a weekend of shared memories and laughter. Example: the conference attendees were provided with accommodations for those who wished to stay over and attend additional sessions the next day. Steal over. Meaning, to creep or move quietly over a place or surface. Example: as dawn approached, a sense of tranquility would steal over the landscape, bringing with it the promise of a new day. Example: the shadows would steadily steal over the garden, casting a cool shade over the vibrant flowers and plants. Take over. Meaning, to assume control or authority, often from another person or group. Example: in the business world, successful companies may take over smaller ones to expand their market presence. Example: the new manager was ready to take over the team and implement fresh strategies for improved efficiency. Talk over. Meaning, to discuss thoroughly or consider together. Example, before making a decision, it's important for the team to talk over the pros and cons of each option. Example, couples should regularly talk over their future plans and goals to ensure they are on the same page. Think over. Meaning, to carefully consider or reflect on a decision or proposal. Example, before accepting the job offer, she needed some time to think it over and weigh the pros and cons. Example, it's advisable to think over major life decisions, as rushing into choices can lead to unintended consequences. Throw over. Meaning, to end a romantic relationship abruptly or callously. Example, he never expected her to throw him over so suddenly without any explanation. Example, the decision to throw over a long-term partner without discussing issues first can lead to hurt feelings and misunderstandings. Take over. Meaning, to continue running or operating smoothly, often used for machinery. Example, despite its age, the vintage car's engine continued to tick over efficiently, showcasing its well-maintained condition. Example, routine maintenance is crucial to ensure that machinery and equipment continue to tick over without unexpected breakdowns. Tide over. Meaning, to provide support or assistance to someone during a difficult time. Example, during the financial crisis, friends and family rallied together to tide over those facing economic hardships. Example, temporary financial assistance can help tide over individuals dealing with unexpected expenses until they regain stability. Tip over. Meaning, to overturn or cause to fall over. Example, as the strong wind intensified, it had the potential to tip over unsecured objects and cause damage. Example, toddlers should be closely supervised to prevent them from accidentally tipping over furniture or objects that could pose a safety risk. Toy over. Meaning, to consider or think about something in a casual or playful manner. Example, as the friends enjoyed a leisurely afternoon, they began to toy over potential vacation destinations for their next trip. Example, instead of making immediate decisions, they decided to toy over the different options before finalizing their plans. Trip over. Meaning, to stumble or lose balance and fall, typically over an obstacle. Example, in the dark room, he accidentally tripped over a chair, causing a momentary commotion. Example, children may trip over toys left on the floor, emphasizing the importance of keeping living spaces safe and organized. Turn over. Meaning, to rotate or flip something to its opposite side or position. Example, the chef instructed the apprentices to turn over the pancakes once the edges became golden brown. Example, before falling asleep, she decided to turn over the pillow for a cooler and more comfortable sleeping experience. Wash over. Meaning, to cover or coat with a liquid, often in a gradual or sweeping manner. Example, the waves from the strong tide began to wash over the sandcastle, slowly eroding its intricate details. Example, as the rain intensified, it started to wash over the car parked in the driveway, creating streaks on its surface. Watch over. Meaning, to protect, supervise, or guard someone or something. Example, the security guard was assigned to watch over the valuable artifacts in the museum during the night. Example, parents often watch over their children at the playground to ensure they play safely and avoid potential accidents. Work over. Meaning, to thoroughly examine or investigate something. Example, the auditors were assigned to work over the financial records to ensure accuracy and compliance with regulations. Example, detectives may work over crime scenes to gather evidence and piece together the details of an incident.